over this weekend, we had this No King's Day situation because your boy 4547 decided he wanted to play dictator and have this military parade, which was very reminiscent of the parades that you see happen in North Korea with Kim Jong-un. Another thing I want to point out, I've been seeing a lot of comments from people who try to throw out how many people were deported under the Obama administration versus who was deported now under the Trump administration in a way to try to make it seem like, oh, Obama is a much worse person because he deported way more people than Trump deported during his time in office. And it's like, that man been out of the White House for how many years now? And y'all still love bringing his name up. And you should know why you're bringing his name up, that why there wasn't this crazy civil unrest during all of these millions of deportations that was happening during his administration. Because it's not about how many people are deported, it's about how they are being deported. Everybody that was deported under the Obama administration were deported via court order. Due process.
About to make it blow a bag full of cash. Like turn to the side, let me see. Damn, I think we all could agree. Yeah. You and your friends, I done counted 2 or 3. And you looking even better here with me. We don't need no dinner, you the no boo. Tell me where you're from, girl, is your logo. Got a couple dollars we could blow through. Yeah. Take a couple trips, yeah, I could show you. Jump in my Impala, get the backseat going.
That right there was my new joint. It's called Blow a Bag. You can find it on all streaming platforms. Just search Hollywood, Blow a Bag, send it to your friends. Most importantly, add it to your playlist. And I want to add, I got a mixtape that I'm about to drop real soon. It's called It's Been a Minute Since I Did One of These. I can't wait for everybody to hear it. But let's get ready to get into what's hot in these blogs. Let's talk about this Diddy trial. It's actually my first time speaking on this trial since it began, which is kind of surprising, but my good homie and business associate, Stacy, has been holding it down on the Hampton Blue Network channel. So if you want a play-by-play of everything that's been going down with this Diddy trial, be sure to check out the Hampton Blue Instagram page at Hampton Blue Network or the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Hampton Blue, to get filled in on all the updates on what's going on with this trial. But today I want to talk about it because one of the jurors was dismissed. Now, we all know the jury consists of 12 people. Now, for the Diddy trial, there's 4 white jurors, there's 4 black jurors, 3 women and 1 male, there's 1 Asian, and there's 3 that identify as people of color. Take your guesses on what that could be. So if what I've learned about these jurors is actually correct, that would mean the sole identifying black male juror has been dismissed, and he was replaced by a white man. Now, Diddy's defense argues that this makes the jury pool less diverse. Now, this isn't the first time the defense has questioned the jury pool situation. During the juror selections, they accused them of purposefully weeding out a lot of the black jurors. Now, when it comes to juries and trials, there's always people that's on standby just in case if anything were to happen with the 12 that's selected, they can be pulled in and filled in. Now, in my opinion, I feel like if you're replacing a black male, then you probably should do it with someone who is black and male as well. I don't know if they have any other black males in the pool to choose from, the alternatives, but that's what I would say is fair. But in this case, the black dude got replaced by a white dude. The reason he was dismissed is because the judge felt that there were some inconsistencies with where the juror said he lives. And you will wonder, like, why now? We're already at day number 895 of this Diddy trial. Why now to be dismissed? You would have thought this would have come up during the selection of the juries, but apparently what I'm hearing is there was some candor that the juror was having just randomly with one of the court officers or something, and just mentioned something about recently moving or something to that effect, and word got back. So here we are. I don't know, maybe he felt it wasn't a big deal, but apparently you can't be a juror in the Southern District of New York unless you're living in a certain part of the area. And apparently where he's currently residing is not in the jurisdiction. The defense tried to appeal it to get him to stay, but the judge was like, he can't get past it. And ultimately, boy was dismissed. I don't know if this changes anything in terms of the outcome. We are already in the 20-some odd days of this trial. The alternatives has been there from the start, so they've already been hearing all of the testimonies and everything. So at the end of the day, you want a jury of your peers. That's what it's supposed to be. There's still 3 remaining black women on the jury, but now there's 5 white jurors, 1 Asian, and 3 who identify as people of color. Again, take your guesses on what that means. But yeah, let me know y'all thoughts. Is this fair? Should he have been replaced with someone that's black as well? Do y'all think this makes a difference? Do y'all think this hinders the ability to have a fair verdict from the jurors? Let me know. But let's move on. What else is hot in these blogs? So over this weekend, we had this No King's Day situation because your boy 4547 decided he wanted to play dictator and have this military parade, which was very reminiscent of the parades that you see happen in North Korea with Kim Jong-un. It coincided with it being his birthday, and he wanted to have this look. I'm up here. What up? So that happened, but across the country, so many people took to the streets to show him just how much we don't F with you. No King's Day was birthed, and so many people across the country. I'm talking about in New York, they shut down the whole, I don't know which avenue it was, but it was the same way they do when they have parades and how they block off the streets and how crowded parades be. This was probably even more crowded than a parade. That is how New York was giving it up for this No King's Day. And I was proud to see it. California held it down. There was a bunch of different areas of California and Los Angeles and throughout the entire California where there was these No King's Day protests all across. A lot of big major cities had their own, and you know, the people just out there standing on business and expressing their disapproval for what is going on in this country right now with this administration. Prior to that, there's been these talks of these raids that's been going on in California. I spoke about that last week. Since then, the update on that is Governor Gavin Newsom here in California has reached out to the courts to get them to make 4547 return control of the National Guard to the state, because that's how it's supposed to be. Anytime there's any type of unrest or anything that may involve calling in the National Guard, it usually goes through the steps of the state first. But in this case, your boy 4547 just wants to strong arm the blue cities in these Democratic states to try to flex and show them, like, I'm running this, which isn't how it's supposed to be. So Governor Gavin Newsom took to the courts. The judge agreed that 4547, aka Trump, should return the power back to the governor. And of course, the Justice Department immediately filed an appeal. So while the appeal is in motion, the National Guard is allowed to stay in the streets of California. So we'll see how this plays out once the appeals judge sees the case, which is supposed to happen on Tuesday, June 17th. So pending when you're watching this video, that may or may not have happened already. So we'll see. Another thing I want to point out, I've been seeing a lot of comments from people who try to throw out how many people were deported under the Obama administration versus who was deported now under the Trump administration in a way to try to make it seem like, oh, Obama is a much worse person because he deported way more people than Trump deported during his time in office. And it's like, that man been out of the White House for how many years now? And y'all still love bringing his name up. And you should know why you're bringing his name up, that why there wasn't this crazy civil unrest during all of these millions of deportations that was happening during his administration. Because it's not about how many people are deported, it's about how they are being deported. Everybody that was deported under the Obama administration were deported via court order, due process, that felonious Donald and his team of misfits and y'all who support him don't seem to understand. Y'all don't point out the fact that Obama was behind programs like DACA, which is there to aid immigrants. He wasn't just making immigrants the enemies of the country. Their actual focus was on criminals who actually committed crimes, people who recently crossed the border, and people who are a threat to society. Majority of them were actual criminals who committed crimes. There was a percentage that didn't have a criminal record, but they may have fell under that recent border crossing situation. This country has had immigration laws since the 1800s, long before since any of us was here, and they've been strict. So the Obama administration was enforcing our country's immigration law. Simple. But he was doing it in a humane way, in an empathetic way. He wasn't running raids in elementary school graduations. He wasn't running through Home Depot parking lots and chasing people through strawberry fields just to snatch them up without due process. And they wasn't paying off a country to book a concentration camp. You sending some of these people not even back to where they came from. You sending them to El Salvador. That just shows how unjust this whole operation is. That's the difference. Since y'all want to bring up his name so much, bring up the full picture. And it's like y'all are saying to hell with due process just because y'all want to meet a quota. Like literally from the White House Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller, they want them to arrest 3,000 people a day. Now let's do the math on that. That's 3,000 a day. That's one. That's a lot of motherfuckers. Now I'm joking, but the true math, 3,000 people a day for a year is over 1 million. To be exact, 1,095,000 people. If they stick to this quota by the end of this guy's 4 years in office, that would be over 4 million people. Over 4 million sent to who knows where. El Salvador, they're talking about opening up Alcatraz. Who knows what will happen over the next 3 years with these 3,000 arrests, where these people's going to go, because they're not sending them back to their countries. So miss me with the Obama talk and how many people Obama deported versus how many people Trump deported, because the night is still young. He's still dumb. They still unqualified. It's a whole show. One last note I want to make for the people who was out there protesting for this No Kings Day. I respect y'all wholeheartedly. I hope every single one of y'all get out during these midterms. Next year in 2026, we know the midterms are one of the most overlooked elections. The local elections and the midterms are overlooked. Is not as many people turn out as they do for the presidential election, but I need y'all to turn out for these midterms. Take note of all of y'all senators, all of y'all Congress people who aren't doing what they're supposed to do to fight back against the tyranny that's going on in this White House. And I need y'all, if their seats are up for re-election, to vote them out. That's where it's going to really matter. Protesting is cool. Y'all letting y'all presence be known, but now get to them polls next year during the midterms. That's how we're going to fight back. And that right there is going to conclude what's hot in the blogs for this week. Thank you for watching. If you rock with your boy, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, it's called Holliewood and Friends, which means I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the topics I just discussed. I appreciate you. New episodes every Monday night. Until next time, deuces.